Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Wall Mindset. So in this one, I'm taking a look at small businesses fighting to keep employees during the coronavirus. So I'll leave a link to this one in the description. So to me, off the top of my head, when I think about people, you're in a business or just an individual, and before crap happens, and crap always happens, if it's not a pandemic recession, it's going to be something else. What can you do before crap hits to put yourself in a good position? So people have, besides their job, investments, side hustles, things on the side, and savings, stuff that can help you survive in case you can't work or you got to shut down your business. So that's preventing it, or that's the backup plan. But then I'm thinking when you're in the thick of stuff, I think it's really important to see what your next move is, the best next move, and just move forward, right? And then also thinking about ways to future-proof this stuff. So in the future, what can you do to not get hit as hard?
Hopefully today, some more of the workers show up. I think a lot of them are just very scared. We have to do it. It's something that we must do because we really just can't close.
The coronavirus pandemic is putting America's 30 million small businesses to the test. From nail salons to grocers to restaurants, they're all facing an existential threat.
Every day I wake up and I keep my finger crossed that this will end.
I don't know what our future holds. I don't really want to think about it.
A month of what some experts compare to a power blackout has nearly halved economic activity. One additional month could lead to the permanent loss of 1/4 of all U.S. business establishments, equaling $4 trillion in revenue. For New York City,
I don't even know who's left. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff left that survived, but how many businesses actually went bankrupt, right? Or just shut down? But I gotta say, people are strong. They will come back. They will adapt. They will, there's going to be business. There's going to be people ready to come out to spend. So businesses, either new businesses will come back or old businesses will figure out a way. So I'm hopeful. I think that it's going to be really crazy in the next couple months when, everybody gets their vaccine around here. And then people are let loose.
Keeping your doors open during a pandemic is anything but straightforward, especially for small businesses. It doesn't help that the initial $349 billion loan program for small businesses ran out in merely 2 weeks. It remains to be seen if the new $484 billion relief package will get into the hands of those most in need.
This is probably the biggest leadership challenge any small business person has ever faced.
When the orders come over next door to our restaurant, we're the ones accepting them and putting them away and doing all the work because we don't have a lot of staff. Also because we don't have a lot of orders, so we don't have a lot of money to pay the staff. So it's just all kind of falling onto us.
If it lasts a few months like this, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be extremely difficult.
It'll be years before we fully understand the economic impact of the coronavirus. While the lockdown continues, essential small businesses in New York City, the epicenter of the pandemic, are barely holding on. What makes a business essential varies a bit depending on the state. For example, in Arizona, golf courses are still open. In Pennsylvania, medical marijuana dispensaries are essential, but liquor stores are not. And in Alabama, gun stores are considered too important to be shut down.
Guns are essential, okay? It's crazy out here. You don't know what's going to happen, so you got to have your guns.
To do it and do it right, it's extremely hard because of the resource. I don't have the same deep pockets as they do.
Mo has increased his workers' hourly wage from $15 to $17. Still, he says he spends most of his days convincing worried employees to come to work. He's running 3 sizable grocery stores that he says gross about $42 million a year on nearly half of the regular staff.
It's about 6:15.
Man, you had to convince people to even come in. That was a crazy time when unemployment would have paid you really well. So, man, just staying in business, even if you have a grocery store, but you're a small business, that's tough. How can you convince people to even come back? I know it was tough to even convince some of the people that my wife worked with to come back.
It depends from day to day. I lose 2, 3 come back, and every morning I just got to deal with it. It's like, who's coming, who's not coming.
If a McDonald's goes from having 40 workers to 36 workers, well, it stays open. If you run a small restaurant and you have 8 workers and you go to 5 or 6 workers, you might have a tough time.
Not too far from Moe's downtown Brooklyn store, Leslie and Matt
so
own
if you're
a
in a small business that even if you're allowed to stay open, but you're short on people to come back, like they don't even want to come back because it was a little risky. And then you have to close. You can't even, the rest of the guys gotta go on unemployment. That really kills it. So you don't even have a chance if you can't get staff to come back.
The store is nestled between bustling Grand Central and Bryant Park. With no commercial business and nearly no foot traffic, the business is down 75 to 80%. They had to lay off more than half of the staff.
I don't think people want to be in Midtown or in a crowded part of the city, so we're missing that part of the business. We're missing corporate business. There are no parties, there are no staff meetings, there's no after hours. I'd say we have a good 4 to 6 weeks before we have to seriously look at the books and say if it's
Oh my
worthwhile.
God. Yeah, for businesses that are near like downtown where it's more like corporate, type of folks and, no one's going to work. Damn. So, and they were talking about 4 more weeks from when they recorded this. So, I mean, they're done. You don't get much foot traffic and things are shut down.
$349 billion of the $2 trillion is dedicated to small businesses. That can be the saving grace for the many small essential and non-essential businesses who are holding on by a thread. According to a survey by the National Federation of Independent Business, as of April 9th, 2020, 70% of small businesses had applied for help.
Numbers we're seeing are dramatic. We are processing billions.
All right, for that PPP stuff, I really gotta see if they're paying that stuff back. If businesses gotta pay that back, then it's like a death spiral. How can they pay that back? And then how can they stay in business and grow in the future if they have to pay that stuff back? I don't know. Sweep that under the rug somehow, maybe. If not, and they actually have to pay, then that's a problem.
Less than 2 weeks after the program launched, it was announced that the $349 billion had run out. According to a survey,
Yeah, if you're part of the crew that missed out, whoo, because I heard a lot of people did not get their money or did not get a piece of that PPP. And I kept watching videos and I see like just random kids, random people all applying. So, right. So I had heard some people got their piece, right? So a lot of these businesses did not get their piece. I hope they still found a way to survive. Otherwise, they were screwed. But I don't know. It really depends, right? How much they can even get. So I don't know if it even would have helped that much for a lot of people.
The National Federation of Independent Business, as of April 17th, 80% of applicants hadn't received funds. Leslie and Matt were among them.
The $350 billion for small business, it's good only if it gets to the small businesses in time. If it gets to them,
it got to the big businesses in time. If you had a good banker, good connections, got your loan submitted like right in there and got your money right away, then you're good. But I think that's the big businesses. They got their piece, but I don't think the small businesses. A lot of the small guys got left out.
Meanwhile, small essential businesses will continue to play an integral role in serving their communities.
Everything in life is a learn. You learn something. So this is a lesson to be learned from something like that hopefully will make us all better when we come out of it.
All right, so I think that's what it is. Hopefully people survive and come out of this stronger and things keep going on. But when I see stuff like this, I always think that you got to have these backup plans. I know you're doing business, maybe margins are tight and you're just trying to grow. There's stuff you can do. There's stuff in there where you can put aside and start thinking about I know like, you're involved in your business, involved in whatever you're doing, and I don't have time for that. But you need to make time to have a backup plan, to have things where you're not dependent on the government, on that next, staying open for like indefinitely. If you miss like a couple months and you got to go out of business, you got to have a better game plan than that. And then also when stuff happens, you got to make those tough decisions and just deal with it. And think of the future plan, right? Like, okay, so for now we're going to do this, but then as things happen, what are we going to do next? And in the future, how are you going to protect yourself? You got to think about the future. A lot of times with anybody, think about the future. What can put you out of business or what can mess you up? Learn from what you experienced, but that future, keep that future in mind. Otherwise, when stuff hits the fan, you're going to be left just, it's so sad, it's struggling, it's terrible, government needs to do more. I'm not waiting for the government. If you're waiting for the government to figure it out for you, it's too late already. That's the case a lot of times. So that's all I got for this one. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. I think it's been just crazy. I know no one could have predicted anything, but there's always something I think you can do about it. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.